Previously, in the last chapter, Selena was invited to have a tea time by Rosalind. However, Selena has no dresses because there are no women's clothes in the castle. So she went with only her night dress. Lady Rosalind insulted Selena that she is poor, but Selena told Rosalind that her previous clothes were ripped apart by Calcion in a steamy night. Rosalind went mad, but Calcion suddenly arrived. Out of nowhere, Selena cried to put in act that she was being bullied. Duke Calcion got really angry at Lady Rosalind for bullying Selena, and he left with Selena afterwards. Selena showed a middle finger to taunt Rosalind, since she won their fight, which made Lady Rosalind visibly furious. Thereafter, Calcion told Selena that she will be facing more threats in the future, so he will be giving her a weapon to fight back, and that is knowledge of the noble society. They will be learning the nobles' behavior and etiquette. So Selena made a bet to Calcion that whoever learns everything first will be granted a wish. A tailor came in after their discussion. Calcion was the one who called the tailor to make clothes for Selena. The tailor promised to do his best and presented Selena some good dress designs. Selena liked some of the unique designs, and the tailor suggested to make 5 dresses of the same design. However, Selena disagreed and suggested to only make 1 dress each for those designs. Still, Calcion wanted to be extravagant. So Selena thought of a brilliant idea to make the dresses more luxurious. Continuing the story, Calcion wanted for Selena to spend money on clothes, because it's the basic fundamentals of aristocracy, in which it includes a certain amount of luxury. Selena thought of something but doubted herself, because what she will suggest came from her original world. Value usually came from scarcity. So Selena suggested to make a unique fabric rather than mass-producing some. She didn't like having the same designs, just because it was beautiful. Selena then began to explain to create a dress that hasn't been seen before. Break the jewels into small pieces, put them between the threads, and use it as a fabric. The thread is to be decorated with gold and silver, so that the pattern is engraved on the dress itself. Selena couldn't even imagine what it would look like, but the tailor excitedly liked her idea. Tailor Devon praised Selena as a genius and have the talent to create fashion. Devon thought that it might cost more, but it wasn't a problem for Calcion, as he will take care of the expenses. Calcion and Selena will be going to the royal capital 20 days later, so Calcion instructed Devon to prepare 100 pieces. Selena got worried, because the tailor have to go beyond working overtime. So she tried disagreeing on producing 100 dresses. However, Calcion just waved his hand, gesturing the butler. The servant at the back quickly brought in a large amount of gold coins as down payment. Tailor Devon smiled confidently and reassured that the money is enough to make him work. Selena shook her head. This world had been crazy from the minute she put her feet on it. She is speechless by the fact that the tailor will work tirelessly for money. Money is money. A few days later, Calcion called the head maid, Jeanette. Surprisingly, Selena's tutor was Mrs. Jeanette. Calcion asked Jeanette how was the tutor going. Calcion was worried that Selena can't learn everything about being a noble in such a short amount of time. However, Jeanette, with a hardened face, told Calcion that Selena is a genius. Calcion was confused about whether to take it as a compliment or not. Jeanette explained that she was sure that Selena didn't learn the manners, nor did she have any ladylike habits. However, once Jeanette started to teach her, Selena started absorbing it to her very soul. A few hours earlier, Selena didn't expect that Jeanette will be the one teaching her nobles etiquette. Why did it have to be her of all people? Selena thought. Selena also thought that Calcion will be with her, but Jeanette replied that Calcion will be joining later. Selena can't help it and just accepted. Although Jeanette didn't show her disapproval towards Selena directly, she didn't intentionally stop neglecting Selena. Still, that expression alone can tell that she dislikes Selena. Jeanette wasn't very friendly to Selena right from the beginning. Even now, she was acting all prickly towards Selena. Selena can't forget the hostility Jeanette showed when they first met. Meanwhile, Jeanette stated that she has the credibility to teach because she is also a noble. Although Jeanette was a baron's daughter, it would be Selena who'd enter the capital. Jeanette coldly told Selena to not dishonor Lenbird's name. Selena's question intended to mean, "Do you deserve to be a teacher?" to touch Jeanette's pride. But it could not hurt a hair on Jeanette after her introduction. Jeanette didn't even react with anger, and only implied that Selena should know her place. Selena asked what if she doesn't do enough, even after she tried hard in learning. Jeanette replied that she will do her best to teach Selena. But Selena insisted what if it still doesn't work. Jeanette changed her tone. She did not elaborate. It could mean a stricter class or a change in the way of teaching. Or, it could mean that it could even be solved by getting rid of Selena. Selena didn't ask any further and just nodded, smiling bitterly. However, Selena was quite dubious of how Jeanette could handle her. But as she promised Calcion, she will try her best. Right after, the noble's etiquette lessons started. Jeanette started teaching Selena in a condescending way, but Selena suddenly interrupted. Selena told Jeanette to not waste time and just show everything, that she would need to remember just once. Jeanette was still looking down at Selena, and didn't believe her words. Still, Selena was confident that she can learn everything just by seeing them once. Jeanette went silent for a moment before agreeing to Selena. She will now teach everything in one time only. However, Jeanette threatened that if Selena can't learn the socialites' manners, she will have to pay a heavy price for wasting Jeanette's time. Selena only smiled lightly, and replied that Jeanette can do whatever she wishes. However, after teaching Selena some of the basic manners, Jeanette was astonished, because Selena actually was able to learn everything she taught, just by seeing it once. Sitting, posture, expression, breathing pace, the angle of arms. It felt like Selena was a real noblewoman who emanates elegance and gracefulness. Jeanette's face hardened, since she can't even point out any mistakes on Selena. Selena asked how was her performance. Jeanette gritted her teeth and fell silent. She can only praise Selena on learning things perfectly, after such a short amount of time. Jeanette reported to Calcion that Selena memorized and learned things perfectly. Calcion had never seen Mrs. Jeanette describe anyone like this before. In the end, Mrs. Jeanette suspected that Selena is impersonating or has other identities. However, Calcion spoke firmly that he knows Selena's true identity. Social manners were complex and delicate. No matter how much you were born and raised in a noble family, small mistakes were bound to happen often in your life. But Selena did not even in the slightest. She memorized it all. Calcion was impressed and promised to attend the lessons. From now on, Jeanette finished up her report and dismissed herself. It was already late in the afternoon, after Calcion finished his work, so he looked by the windows. Selena was outside cheerfully conversing with the maids. Calcion was as serious, as if he was more inclined to doubt the identity of his own servants than Selena. Selena was from a different dimension, and there was no need to consider doubts about having a different identity. She said she's good at everything. Calcion smiled. Selena's words were true. Night fell and Selena was with the looming maid. The blonde-haired maid told Selena that everyone in the castle is interested in her every action, while praising Selena for her looks. Selena smiled at the maid's praise, even though it might be just a lip service. There were nearly 300 maids and servants working in the castle of Lenbird, but this maid was the one she was familiar with. Why was this maid being so careful and gentle to her, even though other servants scorn her? Selena wasn't a duchess who would gain power soon, nor did she have any money to offer. It was suspicious to give excessive care to a woman who had nothing to provide. The possibility that she was looking for a way through Selena to aim for Calcion's tactics, and the possibility that she was under someone's orders to monitor Selena. Selena began to beat around the bush, saying that Jeanette had been strict to her. She did this to dig up some information from the maid. Selena's ears perked up when the maid mentioned the previous Duchess. In Madame Jeanette's eyes, the previous Duchess seemed to have a lot of shortcomings. She kept following the Duchess everywhere, and always nagged behind her. Sometimes, she even hit her. Selena smiled awkwardly. Jeanette even acted mean to such a great figure, the Grand Duchess. What would happen if Selena, herself, got hit by her someday? The maid added that only Duke Calcion was free from Jeanette's nagging. The maid deliberately brought up the story, but Selena couldn't figure out whether she was intentionally leaking it to her or she simply liked to chat. Selena asked for the maid's name, and the maid introduced herself as Juna. There wasn't one person who wasn't on Selena's watch list. That includes the maids. Although almost everyone was gentle to her with a few words, no one seemed to have anything to say about the death of Rel, the prospective fiancé of Calcion. Selena pretended to look around as she lowered her voice, and spoke carefully as she asked another question. It's time to find out how close Juna is going to be to Selena, as she disclosed information about Calcion's ex-fiancé. Selena pretended to be innocent and not know anything to fish out what really caused Arel's death. Made Juna hesitated. It might be because it's one of the forbidden topics in Lenbird Kingdom. Juna looked around the room before bringing her face close to Selena's. Juna must be completely convinced that Selena didn't know, and began to elaborate about Calcion's prospective fiancé. Juna told Selena that Calcion's ex-fiancé committed suicide in the mansion of the capital about a month ago. Selena pretended to be surprised and asked for more details. Juna shook her head with a sour look on her face and disagreed. When Selena asked if Rel was pretty, Juna described Rel as a plain, silent and gloomy woman. Juna also said that she was one of the maids who followed Rel to the capital, which made Selena curious. But, to her surprise, Irel's descriptive image was different from what Calcion had said. A positive and quiet woman, a gloomy and dark woman. Similar yet different based on the emotions, to be exact. Selena caught on what Juna felt about Irel, and asked her about it. Juna answered that Irel had the audacity to cheat on Calcion at the capital, as if it was a conspiracy. It was late at night and Selena went to Calcion. As she stretched her shoulders, sighing deeply, it felt like Selena's whole body was cramped. Since she had kept her waist and her facial muscles straightened all day, she slumped down on the bed, flat on her back, and began telling Calcion her experience. Even with just teaching how to breathe, Jeanette was scornful towards Selena. However, Calcion replied that Madame Jeanette praised Selena instead, which made Selena angrier. What's more odd is that Jeanette only treats Calcion well. Jeanette was even mean to his mother. Only then did Calcion's eyes change. Madame Jeanette was strict, as much as she was reliable. She had lived her life serving Lenbird. Being in charge of the management of the castle was enough to produce complaints. But even to the Duchess, it wasn't something to be let go of. Selena added what she'd learned about Jeanette from Juna. Madame Jeanette was close to posting advice on the Duchess' behavior to the point that it was excessive. As the Duke, Calcion could not blame Jeanette. He tried to pass the subject over. However, Selena had other motives. Calcion took a stance that he should listen first. Selena hesitated a little before she started. Calcion trusted Mrs. Jeanette, but Selena's words were bound to shake him enough to leave the castle at once. Before revealing something to Calcion, Selena requested to change from verbal to a real contract. Selena slowly went to ask Calcion if Irel, his previous fiancé, really died because of suicide. It wasn't easy for her to say it, because it alone overturned the premise on which she verbally signed a contract with him. Calcion asked why Selena didn't think that Irel's death was also murder. Calcion understood Selena's intentions. Irel might have chosen to commit suicide because of the excessive pressure around her, especially Jeanette. Calcion need more explanation on this conclusion. Irel committed suicide because she was constantly bullied and looked down upon by Jeanette and other maids. The means of death was suicide. But if someone drove her to kill herself, can it still be suicide? Calcion went silent and contemplated. He wouldn't be able to answer easily. If he admitted it to be a suicide, he should also consider the situation in which the criminal would be eliminated. On the contrary, if he considered someone had killed his fiancée, he'd have to get revenge on someone who did not even let their hands be directly painted in blood. Duke Calcion concluded that, in the end, it was still murder. Selena then named those who have tormented Irel to the point of death for the Duchess' position as potential suspects. The first one is Madame Jeanette, and the second are the ladies-in-waiting who followed Irel to the capital. Jeanette said she'll do anything for Lenbird's honor, and the maids were very gossipy. Calcion did not respond much. However, Selena sat up, reeling under the sudden movement. The Northern Duke, who lived without any reason to sympathize with others, needed an eye-level conversation. Selena asked if the Duke ever risked his position on someone else's assessment or because others didn't like him. Calcion said no to all questions. Selena shook her head. Calcion don't have to mind others because of his authority. Calcion tried to make a reason that Irel's dukedom is also quite powerful, but Selena interrupted. For example, the honor of a nobility, Irel's reputation will be ruined even with just a small scandal. Calcion furrowed his forehead. Honor, it was a sensitive topic. In a sense of crisis such as a scandal, Selena felt emotional without realizing it, since she can somehow relate. If a person is ostracized and hated by everyone, she can think of doing anything, including killing herself. It was also like that in her original world. Selena got caught up with false rumors, and her career began its downfall. No matter how careful she was, endorsements and projects stopped coming. A person can go crazy being constantly driven into a corner, even if it's not their own fault. Still, Selena was able to hold on well thanks to her seniors and mentors who guided her. But what about Irel? Did she have people who believed in her until the end? Selena bit her lips as she thought of the horror that Irel might have gone through alone. Calcion looked at Selena, who caught up in her emotions. Still, he can't really relate. That's why Calcion asked what words could have made Irel want to kill herself. Selena wasn't sure, but it definitely drove Irel to the point of death. Calcion started reiterating his deal with Giant Dukedom. Calcion provided them with money, while they helped in filling the position of Duchess. The Giant Dukedom sent Irel to become the prospective fiancé. Irel was supposed to be just an ordinary noblewoman. But what if the situation made her famous? And that's the rumor, that Irel has slept around in the capital so promiscuously that there's no man who hasn't touched her. Selena tried to bead the words more properly. From what she heard from the maid, Juna, Calcion growled sarcastically. That sleeping around men is just normal for some nobles. And that rumors are also just common when having such a high position. Selena held her poor breath, sensing a definite fire within him. She still could not tell whether he was angry or not. Selena explained that Duke Calcion could not care less and just ignore the rumors. But some people might think it's better to die if you were gotten rid of and abandoned by your family, being disowned by her own family, and being cast off by society because of the rumors. Irel might have thought that it will be better to just die because she doesn't have anywhere to belong. Selena was once again swept up by her emotions because she can relate to Irel. Selena fell silent thereafter, trying to calm down her flushed mind. Calcion's eyes darted to Selena's. It was the first time he saw Selena being like this. Out of nowhere, Calcion stood up and held Selena. This made Selena caught off guard. But Calcion only continued speaking. He told Selena that whatever rumor she will have, whether true or not, he doesn't care. Calcion seemed to be comforting Selena, who got emotional, because she once experienced it. Calcion also vowed that unless Selena runs away, then he won't break the contract first. Selena's face flushed when Calcion got so close to her that she got quiet. Right after, Calcion declared that he won't ever abandon her. Overwhelmed by his serious look, Selena only nodded. Calcion hesitated before continuing, but he still tightly held Selena by his arms. And, "Don't make a scandal with anyone else when the contract is active," Calcion added. The next morning, Rosalind and Fiona announced their sudden leave. Of course, Fiona didn't forget to exaggerate the fact that Calcion came to see her off. But it was actually not a fact. Calcion only accidentally came here while taking a walk. It really was. Selena was the one who asked Calcion to join for a walk. Selena heard through Juna that Rosalind and Fiona were getting ready to leave. Juna had already started acting as a loyal servant. They know that Selena was going to the capital with Calcion, and thus they're in a hurry to order more fancy clothes and accessories, and to spread the word, was what Juna said. In other words, they were going to prepare for Selena's harassment. A villain must be diligent. Selena bid farewell also to Rosalind, but was only thrown with a cold shoulder. Lady Rosalind only gave a vague reply. Maybe was Rosalind saying that Selena was going to die in the hands of the people she planted, before Selena even sets off for the capital. Selena bounced onto Calcion's arms. Calcion stood frozen until the carriage left his view. Starting today, Madame Jeanette's class was to be attended by Calcion. Jeanette's attitude changed when Calcion came in, and she only planned to make him learn lightly. Selena noticed this and spoke out her thoughts. Immediately, Jeanette's eyes darted to Selena. Selena only replied that she's better in real situations than just studying. Still, Jeanette has been nitpicking and scolded Selena to act ladylike. Calcion was taken aback by how strict Jeanette is towards Selena. He definitely had never seen Jeanette like this before. Jeanette tried to justify her actions after she spotted Calcion's astonished look. Calcion asked why there's a difference in treatment between him and Selena. Jeanette stuttered, trying to come up with a reason. Selena had never witnessed Jeanette to be so embarrassed, but Jeanette confessed she did not know the reason, nor did the people she used to live with. Selena smirked. It must be because Calcion is the Duke, or there could be another reason. Either way, Selena told Jeanette that she wasn't interested in the Duchess' position. Jeanette was startled. She, perhaps, was convinced that Selena was after the seat beside the Duke. Selena was not lying. She had adjusted the terms of the contract with Calcion. Still, Selena implied that Jeanette might be this strict towards others, for example, to Irel. People were bound to make mistakes, no matter how much they were raised in an aristocratic family. If all of them were pointed out, would they be able to hide in peacefully? Only then did Calcion start feeling nervous, finally realizing the change in the atmosphere. Jeanette's excessive loyalty could sometimes pose as a stumbling block. Jeanette heeded to Calcion's warning to only teach Selena, without being too much strict. She was submissive enough to make Selena wonder if she was the same as before. Selena smiled bitterly. Time passed by quickly with the lessons, and the morning became night. Selena can be seen laughing out loud, because Calcion was wrong about ending the lessons quickly. Selena did excellently well, as Jeanette had reported before. It was Calcion who was wandering off. Calcion knew the basic social etiquette, so, of course, he expected the rest to be easy. However, the level of socializing that Calcion learned was only up to greetings. Who knows when he can learn other social cues, when he is dense with understanding people's emotions.
That's all, folks. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment down below, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I will be posting more videos about good reads you may like, so stay tuned. Thanks for watching. See you soon.